So, a lot of you have been enjoying Deer Days, as I can see from the comment section and my streams and all that stuff. But a question that I get pretty often is, of course, how does the crafting system work and how do I make decks faster? What are the steps and how does this whole thing work? You know, does this game have microtransactions, like stuff like that? And luckily it doesn't. Everything is internal within the game, and that is really good because once you buy the game, you know, it's a pretty expensive price tag, you basically have, like, your full enjoyment, right? Just at your hands. So I think that is really, really cool. And so today I want to talk a little bit about the way that crafting in this game works and basically what you should know. So basically, every type of rarity of a card has a crafting cost, and you get the crafting cost, which is called, I think, CP. So it is actually just, you know, I think crafting, like Cardfight points or something like that. I can't remember what exactly it stands for, but basically you have different ones for different rarities, and of course, you know, the higher the rarity, the more it's going to cost. And the first time you ever craft a card, it costs double that amount if you don't have it. So for example, as you can see, for triple rare, it costs 400 CP to craft, and I think I'm blocking with my camera here because I'm very intelligent. So as you can see here, it costs 400 CP to craft a triple rare, but if you were to craft it for the first time, it costs double, right? So 800. And this applies to all rarities. So going down the list, you know, it costs 400 to craft a triple, 200 to craft a double rare, and then 120 to craft a rare, and then it costs 40 to craft a common. And then for SPs, it costs like 1,200 if you want to go full bling. And then of course, if you want to go like extra bling, you know, it's like 6,300 for like SP triple rares with the like nation foiling on them as well. I don't really know where the 300 comes from because this is like a big bonus cost, of course, and keep in mind that it is of course doubled, so the normal price would be like 3,150, I suppose. So if you want to really bling out your decks, it's going to cost a lot of material, but that's like how much like it costs to craft certain cards. And the real additions of, like, you know, going full bling is, for example, these cards that have like the like logo on them. When you ride them, you get a special background music that starts playing in the fight, which is really, really cool. But how do you even get these crafting points from, you know, making cards? Well, basically when you would pull a card too many times, so for most cards, you know, you can play only 4 copies, so when you pull your 5th copy, you'll get a quarter of the crafting cost in material. So that is basically how you do that, which I think is, you know, quite nice, because the more you open packs of like the same set, the more crafting material you get, which is very nice. And then for example, for things like over triggers, they can only have 1 per deck and therefore 1 per collection. Basically, once you have your second one, you already start to build up a lot of material, which is really nice. So for example, if let's say you get a double rare that you already have a full playset of, you get 50 crafting points, which is pretty nice because if you get a bunch, you get a couple hundred basically per pack opening session, which is kind of just how this works. So what is the best way to get crafting material? Well, honestly, it's just opening certain packs that grant you a lot of like good cards that at the same time, like, you want to be pulling for, and you also get a lot of crafting points because you just, you know, keep opening the same set. So one of the best examples is set 4, because a lot of the cards in this set have very meta-defining, it's just a very meta-defining card set in general. So like Nirvana is really good, Bruce is good, Bavsagar is built from here, Swirler is good, Bubetu is good, like Pure Light is good, Bastion's good, Gravidia is good, like so many stuff in here is good, and like double rares here are really good. The rares, you have like the effect draw triggers in here as well that most decks want. So you'll be opening this pack a lot because there's so many good cards. So it actually pays off a lot to just open a lot of set 4. And set 1 is also really good because, well, the triples aren't as great. This set has your over triggers as well as your perfect guards that you want to have. And the over triggers, once you pull more than 1 copy of each, you start getting 50 crafting points every single time, which is really, really nice. And that makes just getting crafting points really, really easy. So the more you open set 1, you also get crafting points very fast, which is also nice because while you're getting your playsets of like every perfect guard and every over trigger, you're also basically making up a lot of like the base card pool of the format as well. And then the other set that I really recommend opening is set 5, because set 5 has a lot of the really, really strong decks that just need like 1 promo basically from like the promo pack to make them really insane. So like Eva, Tamayura, Thagria, and then of course like Phantom Blast Overlord in the end. Like a lot of these are really, really good. And of course, you know, just opening a lot is nice. And this set is also a bit smaller than others. There's actually less cards in set 5 compared to other sets, which means that you are going to get you're still opening the same amount of cards per pack and paying the same amount of like Vanguard points per pack that you're paying for, but because there's less different types of cards, the chance of dupes is higher, and therefore you're going to get more crafting points. So just choosing one set that you feel like you really want and just like spamming it non-stop is going to get you a lot of crafting points, which will make, of course, building decks a lot easier. Like some sets, like honestly, I think the like nation clan packs, I personally think like you pay too much for per pack for what you get. So I personally don't really recommend them that much. I think basically like the sets 1, 4, and 5 are probably the best candidates, unless you play Lyrical, in which case Lyrical set 1 and 2 are going to be your favorite ones to go for. And then the promo pack is pretty good, but you can kind of craft the cards in the promo pack because a lot of stuff here is really like not worth your time, but then the stuff that's really worth your time you need to have like 4 copies of, right? So especially the stuff around here. And then the Festival Collection 2, everything here is a triple or a double, which means that you are going to get a lot more crafting currency if you commit to this pack, but the problem is that it costs 800 VP per opening, which means that it's more than double the price of a regular pack. So therefore, I think it's not as good to spam until later into the game, but that's just one part of it, right? That is kind of like the best way to get crafting points, but then how do you open so many packs, right? Like as you can see, I have 0 VP, you know, just completely stripped, don't have anything to my name. Well, the kind of place to go is actually in the story. Once you get to a certain point, you'll be able to unlock a very important D skill, I said V skill, which is, if we go down here, you're going to see VP boost. So it does a very simple thing called increase VP reward for a fight by 1.5 times. So this only applies to the story, but this makes it so that every time you clear any fight in the story, you'll get 1.5 times the VP, which means that you get VP much faster, so you can actually upgrade your decks much faster. There's another V skill, or D skill rather, that you unlock a bit later, which makes it so that you double the VP reward, but in exchange your opponent will always check more triggers, like just in general. So you have to fight a bit better and fight against the, you know, better luck from your opponent's side, but you know, you will get a lot more VP. So this one is kind of like the more balanced one, but if you really want to test out, then you can try out the one that's 2 times as well once you get that far into the story. And if you're curious where you in the story it is around here where this guy pops up. So it's basically the section where you kind of beat the dude with the blonde like hair streak from Team Draco Moon. So after you beat him, that is actually where you unlock that skill, and it's the best thing to have, right? So that will make opening packs so much easier, and that is by far the most important point. And honestly, those are the most important tips for how to build decks faster and how to get cards faster, because it is just so much easier to build decks. And basically, once you've gotten like a solid card collection and like you've built your first deck, it becomes so much faster. Like to give you an example of my own stuff, I can just go back to main menu here real quick and show you my decks. Like for most of the playthrough you've been watching as well on the channel, you'll notice that I've been mostly playing Buff Saga because I've just been like taking my time opening set 4 packs and upgrading that deck bit by bit. But after I finished it, I've been able to finish like Nirvana entirely, and I have almost finished Bastion minus 3 rares from a set I haven't opened, and you know, getting like slowly there with Ava as well. This is the deck that I want to play like by far the most, I think. So you know, slowly getting there, slowly working our way up there. But basically, once you finish your first deck, things get a lot faster, and that is kind of what you want to be aiming for as well. So hopefully this helps you guys in terms of how to get more decks, more cards, and how to get there faster. And especially, like, I think I really recommend going through the story until you hit that VP 1.5 times D skill, and then from there on it will be much easier and much faster. So hopefully this video helped. If it did, leave a like on the video, and of course let me know in the comments what your favorite parts of the days have been so far. But otherwise, that's gonna be it for me today, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.